Hi guys, it's Jo here with another Time for Tea Designs video. Today's video was filmed during our Facebook Live on Thursday, and we started that video by drawing the winner of our competition from the previous week. So I asked Ant if he would draw the winner for us, and the lucky winner was Jackie Turner. So congratulations, Jackie. Please get in touch and we'll get you your card out to you as soon as we can. So on to the project for today. So for today's card, I'm going to be using some craft cards. I'm making a slimline card. I'm also going to be using our scallop mini frame dies, and I'm also going to be using the Bearing Gifts stamp and coordinating die set. So I've started off by just trimming down my craft card so that it's slightly smaller than my DL card blank. So the DL card size is a UK card size. I think in the US they're slightly slimmer than this. So I think I was around 4 inches in width, and in the US they're around 3.5 inches. But you should be able to adapt this accordingly to your preferred size of slimline card. I've used my corner chomper there just to round the corners of my slimline card, and for the craft card base. And now I'm going in with some of my speckled egg. So yes, this is the new Speckled Egg Distress Oxide ink. And does it live up to the hype? Well, yes, I think it does, because I really loved how this colour turned out. It's a really nice creamy texture. It is very much that kind of duck egg blue that you would expect. So it's a greeny grey blue shade, and it goes so well with the craft card, and also with this pink shade that I happen to be wearing on my jumper. And also on my blender brush. So we decided that those were the 3 colours that we were going to use in our card today. So I've covered all of my card base with some of that speckled egg, just using my blender brush, and I've popped that all over the background. I've now splattered that with some water, and I'm just using a bit of tissue there just to mop that up. You can't really see it a great deal on the screen there, but I am going to add some more splatters with some white acrylic paint, which you'll be able to see a little bit more clearly. But in real life, you can see how that water has reacted with the oxide ink and just created that little bit of soft texture in the background. So I've watered down my acrylic paint quite a bit so that I can get a nice splatter effect along my my background. And I'm going to do the same technique onto my craft paper, because I do think that this looks really nice against that brown craft card. So some of the white against that background just looks so effective. So I'm using a combination of flicks and splatters to get different sizes of paint droplets onto my background. But I did find that I'd done quite a big drop in the middle there, which I wasn't too concerned about, because once it's dried, it's likely that we would cover that up with our frame once we've cut those out of the centre. So I'm just going to stamp up my images now. So these are the bears and the accessories from the Bearing Gifts stamp collection. And I'm using my stamping platform and some of our super smooth cardstock there, and then using my Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp up my images. So just applying a little bit of pressure. I do love the stamping platform because it does really help me get the best possible crisp, clean image. And once all of those images are complete, I'm going to use some of that speckled egg again, just to stamp up this little speech bubble with the love heart. This is a really cute little stamp that's part of the set. And you can use your coordinating dye inks to add a little bit of colour to your project this way. And the Distress Oxide inks sometimes need a couple of stamps to get a really crisp image. And again, that's one of the advantages of using that stamping platform. So we're just going to colour up our little bears, and because I wanted a little bit of a contrast to the brown, I decided to colour my my bears in grey. So I've used the warm grey shades, again, because I think with them being little critters, them having a little bit of warmth to them really does help. So I've started off with my lightest shade, and then I'm building up that colour around the areas where I believe there would be some shadow and some shading, and to add dimension and a little bit of roundness to our little chubby bears with my darker shades. So this is the W3 shade that I've used to create a little bit of shadow, and then I'm just using the W5 just to add that bit of definition under his chin, some darkness to under his arms and under his belly where his feet are. Again, that just gives the illusion of some depth and dimension. So with the final bear, I hadn't realised I picked up my W3 marker and I'd actually put that down first. So that's why I didn't go right to the centre of his belly. I left that white so that I could add my W1 into the centre of his little fat belly there, so that again you're getting that sense of dimension and roundness, and then the W5 adds extra definition where those shadows would be. So just blending in all of those, going back over, deepening some of those areas where I didn't feel there was enough shadow. And then for the muzzle, I have included some, I think it was the E42 shades, just to add a little bit of brown to his little muzzle there. And then the R20 has brought in to add some colour to his cheeks and his nose. Continuing that kind of blush colour of pink that we thought went really, really well with this colour scheme, I've used that to top the frosting of our cupcake, and I'm also using that to colour up the bag for our sweets. I've used the same colour to add to some of those sweets, and I'm going to use the same pink on our bar of chocolate. But first I'm colouring that in a couple of shades of deep brown, so it's like a milk chocolate shade, and those browns make for a really nice rich chocolate colour. And the contrasting colour that we used were the BG shades, so BG 000, and a BG 72, which is very similar, which was as close as I could get to that speckled egg shade. So I'm just using the coordinating dies, and you can see here that I'm showing how that die for this particular bear will cut around those paws so that it can hold one of the accessories. So, and that's the perfect size for holding the coffee cup, say, or the bag of sweets. So you can add that. But the first one that I did shifted in my die cutting machine, and so it didn't cut out properly. You can see he's in the top left corner there. So I did have to do him again, and you can see now he's cut out perfectly, and those little arms move so that I can pop something into his paws. So now I'm just having a little look at the composition of my card, and I decided in the end that we were going to use these circle scallops. And I'm just lining them up using my T-square ruler here, just to find out roughly where the centre point would be. I'm going to have 3 of these scallops running down centre of our Slimline card, and I'm also going to create a sentiment strip with the banner that is part of that same die set. So I've cut out a couple of those shapes. This is the last of those, and I'm just lining these up really by eye. Once your middle shape has been cut out and you've got that in the right place, you should be able to line up the others quite easily. So that's the final one of those that's going to go through the machine now. And then I'm just adding a little bit of washi tape to my banner die so that I can pop that through the machine next. So here we have our frames cut out, and I'm going to pop those back into the space that's been cut out for them with some foam tape so that they will stand up and stand proud of the background. So I'm just having a little look now. Where do I want all my other elements to sit? How will this work once we've got everything in place? And thinking about where my sentiment might sit amongst our little bears. So we just had a little play around there, and now I'm going to stamp up my sentiments. So one of the sentiments that's in the Bearing Gifts stamp set is the sending you bear hug sentiment. So I'm just going to stamp that now onto that banner that we've already cut. Again, using my stamping platform to help me get that lined up perfectly, and using some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I think that is the name of it. Yes. So that we can get that a really nice crisp image. So now we've decided pretty much on our composition. Ant threw a spanner in the works and said he thought he quite liked it without the craft background. We did a little vote and everyone agreed with my original plan. So we're going to pop that craft background onto our card base with some liquid glue. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to pop each of those little scallop frames back in place using some small squares of foam tape. So I'm just going to add all of those around all of our frames. This is going to take a little bit of time.
2 hours later.
So once they've all been added, I can now quickly pop these all back into the spaces that we die cut. And now we can start assembling the rest of our images. So I've used some liquid glue to add that coffee cup to the paws of one of our bears. And then I'm just arranging the other bears into position. And I'm going to add the bar of chocolate to one of the paws there. And then the sweets to our little mustachioed bear that's going to sit in the middle. I decided in the end that I think the banner would sit much better across the top of that, across the bottom of the top scallop frame, if I can get my words out. So I'm just using a combination of liquid glue and some of those foam pads just to add some support to the back of each of our images, and then popping them in place so that they don't collapse into that aperture that we've created. So doing the same for each of our little bears. And a bit of liquid glue on that opposite side. And I've arranged each of the bears so that the middle bear is in the opposite direction, which works really nicely. And then those two little speech bubbles sending some love looked really sweet from the top and the bottom scallop frames. And then our little cupcake has been raised on some foam tape to the left-hand side of our mustachioed bear. And then some shaker tape across the middle of our banner will add some dimension to that as well, and that will just fit perfectly in between those two frames. So that really was the majority of the card complete. We just had to add some finishing touches. So with my Jelly Roll pen, I've added some stripes to the chocolate bar. Added a little bit of colour to the top of the sprinkles on our cupcake. And I'm using my black glaze Jelly Roll pen to add a little bit of shine to the moustache and to brighten up those eyes of our bottom bear. Some more highlights with my Jelly Roll pen. And then I felt like we probably needed a little bit of sparkle. So, oh, and I also added some stripes, to the sleeve of the coffee cup with a darker brown marker pen. And then this is, I believe it's a Spectrum Noir sparkle pen, and just clear sparkle. And I just added some sparkles around each of those speech bubbles onto the top of my cupcake, on the sweets and in the chocolate bar. And I just thought that just really finished it off. But when I came to take the photos for it, I felt it did need something a little bit extra. So I have added some of our clear drops to this as well. So you'll see that in the pictures once we've finished. So I do hope that you enjoyed our demonstration today. I love the way that these colours combine. And like I say, I'm really loving the Slimline cards, and these frames work perfectly for that style of card. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. And we'll be back again next week with another video and another Facebook Live on Thursday. So we'll hope to see you then. Thanks so much. See you again soon. Bye-bye now. Please don't forget, if you did like today's video, to like and subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell to be alerted as soon as we add more videos. Thanks again. Bye bye now.